People, what is going on? It's that time of the year where I think it's time to decide and start ranking the teammates, the best teammates in Formula One, the driver ranking teammates in Formula One, the best driver pairing, if you will. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section, of course. And if you like Formula One content, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you can get more and more Formula One content like this. Okay, let's get into it. I start off in number 10. Now, let me actually say this. The driver pairings this year have not been that bad. They're actually not that bad this year. And I think there's a lot of this is a bit of respect to Formula One. I must say, it's a little bit of respect to Formula One here because they've done pretty decent in terms of having drivers that are worthy of actually being on the circuits. There's been times where you just sat there and thought, hang on a minute, how has this one, and this one been in Formula One? How have they got into these drives? No disrespect to any of these, but I think this year we've actually got some decent pairings, if you will. Not much changed from last year. In fact, nothing really changed from last year. But I thought it would be best to rank because I didn't rank them last year. So let's rank them this year. We'll start off in P10 in the sort of the ranking, the driver pairing ranking. In P10, it's going to be Zhou Guanyu and Valtteri Bottas. Yes, because I don't know what Valtteri Bottas that we are experiencing. Okay. It's a brand new one. It's not a brand new, sorry. It's like a new one from last year. It's a bit of a woke one. Another one who's kind of speaking his mind. Somebody who is a little bit more relaxed and chilled, not too bothered, not too shy. He's doing his own thing. And I think he's kind of checking out of Formula One, if you were to ask me. Okay. Maybe I'm being harsh. Maybe I'm being completely wrong. I don't know. Maybe. But yeah, Valtteri Bottas, not really a big fan of. I feel like, maybe Hamilton squeezed everything out of him and just doesn't have it anymore. Maybe it's just the car, because let's be honest, yeah, the car this year, the Sauber, the Kick Sauber, the Stake F1 team, they have been bad. Okay, so far at the start of the season. They've been awful. Let's call it what it is. But yes, Zhou Guanyu, I feel like I still don't know you. I feel like we're still getting to know who Zhou Guanyu is. And I feel like, okay, listen, Formula One can give you that time. It can give you, a year to maybe bed in and settle in. But what year are we in now? Is it 3? Is it 4? I mean, Zhou Guanyu's been here. Do you know what I mean? And, I was excited to just see what we will get out of him, whether he's going to be one of those kind of live wires, whether he's going to be somebody who will surprise us in the course of the season. And I haven't really got anything from him. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if he's quick. I don't know if he's slow. Sauber are just an irrelevant team. Like, when Alfa Romeo, when they were called that, just irrelevant at the back. So some of the worst out there. And, and P9 is Alex Albon and Logan Sargent. And the thing is, I've put the Williams basically above the Sauber because at least Alex Albon gives me something. Do you know what I mean? He gives you a bit of excitement. There's always maybe a points finish is on the card. Maybe there's a battle for that points finish. Okay, Logan Sargent. Okay, he hasn't covered himself in glory, but Logan Sargent is like really him Joe Bottas. There's not much going on over there between those three. Okay, Logan's got another year at the helm, and hopefully he will improve on last year because last year was a bit quiet, and I was looking forward to him because of what he was doing in F2. So to see where he is at the moment in time, not that great, but Alex Albon brings that pairing, lifts it up a little bit, and definitely puts it above the Stake F1 team for sure. In P8, now, I was struggling with this one because there was 3 pairings that could go in this section right here. But I've gone with Nico Hülkenberg and Kevin Magnussen. And I even feel crazy saying that because I really like Nico Hülkenberg. I rate Nico Hülkenberg. I think he's a very good driver. And I think that Kevin Magnussen as well. Like when Magnussen's on, he's on. Like former McLaren guy, so I've always got time for him. And he used to be really switched on, especially in that McLaren and in that Haas, right? Of early time, of his time previous to when he's just come back. But it's almost like he's come back, and don't get me wrong, listen, Haas have done it actually all right. They predicted to be at the back of the grid. This is coming from their own team principal, for goodness sake, okay? But they've actually done all right this year. And to see that, double points finish in Australia, decent amount of points. And I feel like, this is why I feel a bit bad putting them here because they've both got potential, but we've been saying potential for so long. Nico Hulkenberg, listen, unless he gets a lifeline of a fast car drive, you know, we won't see him get that podium, which is a shame because he deserves it. You know, he deserves that podium. It shouldn't sum up his career, but he deserves that podium. Both of these drivers, I mean, even Magnussen's had a podium with McLaren at least. But yeah, both of these drivers, decent drivers, good drivers. I could have thrown anybody in this mix here, but I just feel like they might even change my mind. I think we can let's go back and look at these ratings towards the end of the season and see whether I'd feel different about this, about them. But when I just think about their career overall, it's always been a ceiling. They've always hit a ceiling where they don't necessarily rise above it. So I've gone with them for P8. In P7, I'm tossing up here. Daniel Ricciardo and Yuki Tsunoda. Now, Daniel Ricciardo, you're thinking, how can Daniel Ricciardo be 7th in the driver pairing? Like, how is that even possible? Okay, what has he won? I think he's won 8 Grand Prix. You know, many podiums, pole positions. You know, you must be thinking, come on, Pete, this is a bit harsh. But I've got him and Yuki in there because when you think about them together so far in RB, right? They are like one always seems to do better than the other. I know that sounds stupid, but as in when Daniel Ricciardo is on form, Yuki Tsunoda is not. When Yuki Tsunoda is on form as he is right now, where is Daniel Ricciardo? People are asking questions about Daniel this year already. Okay, yeah, this man was being poised to sort of line up for the Red Bull seat further down the line. Nobody seems to know what's going on with him. So it's a bit of a strange one. The pairing there is there's bags of potential in terms of how high they could be up the grid. And the car seems to be half decent. So not entirely sure what's going on there with that pairing. But let's look at what else is there. There are some drivers that just take it a little bit up to the next level. You know, some of you might argue, well, hang on a minute. Where's Stroll and Alonso? Where have you put them in this pack? They're not number 6 because I've got Ocon and Gasly there. Now, this, again, it's like a lot of these drivers, like when you think about your Kevin Magnussen's, your Nico Hulkenberg, your Gasly, your Ocons, I always feel like, what could have been? You know, there is so much potential in there. Now, don't get me wrong. Ocon's won a race. Gasly's won a race. They've both got podiums before. So they're actually quite a good pairing, if you ask me. When you look at kind of the gaps between them two, I don't think they're that far apart from each other. They're very similar in terms of results. And I think that they're seasoned well. They know how, they're both quick drivers as well. And I think it's actually a pairing that could go really high had all the pieces been together. You know, Alpine is a bit of a disaster. It's a bit of a mess over there with the French team. And it's unfortunate because I think there's, you know, when you think of like your Ferraris, McLarens, Red Bulls and stuff like that, Mercedes, obviously, Renault should be in this conversation. You know, Alpine should really be here. And I'm sure that's what they're thinking in the factory. This is a team who have won championships, by the way. Like, they have won championships. So they're a team that you can respect. But it's not been plain sailing for a long time with that team. But the driver pairing is strong, it's solid, and in fact, I would have had them P5 in this list. Instead, I've gone for Alonso and Stroll. Why? Because Alonso brings it just that much better, doesn't he? 2-time world champion. Okay, still quick in his 40s, still quick now. Stroll, for me, with Stroll, it's when I feel like it, he will turn up. That's the kind of guy I get from him. Because Stroll's actually kind of quick. He's actually quick. He's actually got a decent drive in him, you know? And he always seems to surprise me at the start of the season. And then I remember, no, I shouldn't be surprised. He's actually a decent driver. But what happens? You know, he flatters to deceive. And it feels almost like he doesn't want to be there. It feels like, driving's long. I'm only here because my dad wants me to be here. You know, but then obviously it's not that. You know, he definitely wants to be a Formula One driver. Like, we've got to put some respect on it. And even when you watch Drive to Survive, for example, you see the ambition with Lawrence Stroll, the team owner, the team boss, right? You see that with him there. But you know, it's just if only Stroll could show me that consistency, him and Alonso would definitely be well deserving of that P4, P5, you know, kind of area. Right? Quite easily. P4, Lando Norris, Oscar Piastri. This one right here, this pairing has got the potential to become P1. That's how strong I feel about them. That's why I've rated them so high. Neither of them have race wins. Okay, fine. Neither of them have a championship. I mean, Piastri's got that sprint race win. You know, if you want to include that. I know. Some of you don't want to include. That's fine. Okay. Neither of them even. I think there's been one pole, right, from Lando Norris. But you know, the potential between these two drivers, it's unreal. This is Piastri's second year in Formula One, and he looks Very good. The best rookie season he's, I think, in Formula One since Lewis Hamilton in 2007. I have no shame in saying that at all. And then Lando Norris, like, he's just been unlucky. Yeah. Now it's been that point of unluck, but now it's that stage of like, okay, now it's time for him to actually show up and say, look, guys, just in case you lot slept on me. Yeah. Like, people do sleep on McLaren. Okay. Watch. I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you what time it is. That's how I feel about those two. P3, Verstappen and Sergio Perez. And this is mainly because of Sergio Perez, okay? Sergio Perez has bags of potential, race wins under his belt, podiums, you know, the like, okay? And he's a driver that, you know, I've always felt like, you know, not that he hasn't reached his potential, because I think he has. I think he has in terms of his potential being race wins. I never thought he'd be a Formula One world champion, but I always thought like he could definitely win races. He won races in that Racing Point. Okay, he got into podiums with the Sauber, okay, and then he's won races in that Red Bull, you know, which you would expect, okay. But the performances, except for like maybe his first year in Formula One, when as Verstappen called him, Checo is a legend because he helped him to win that title just as much. You know, played his part definitely in that season. And last season, when he finished P2 in the Drivers' Championship, my God, it was by the skin of his teeth. Okay, he just about made it in there. And when you're in that Red Bull, when it was completely far away from everybody else, you should not be struggling to finish P2. Okay. Lewis Hamilton nearly jumped him for that situation. So that's the reason. Max Verstappen, I mean, what do I need to say? 3-time champion. Okay. Will be the 4th world champion. Okay. Phenomenal amount of race wins. Phenomenal amount of pole positions. This guy is crazy. He's good. He's up there. He's going to go down in history as one of the best in the world. That conversation about your Schumachers, your Hamiltons, your Sennas, your Prosts, your Fittipaldis, you know what I'm saying? He's going to be in that conversation in there. He will get there one day. No doubt about it, if he isn't there already. P2, Carlos Sainz, Charles Leclerc. It's a very good pairing. Ferrari's got a very good pairing, and many people will start criticizing Ferrari now just because Carlos Sainz has won the Australian Grand Prix, right? And has got some race wins under his belt. Let's have it right. You know, I think got about 3 race wins for Ferrari. They'll be asking, why would they break this up? Listen, guys, you will break it up for a 7-time world champion. Like, let's end that conversation there. Let's put it to the side. But Sainz and Leclerc, phenomenal driver pairing. It's almost too good in a sense of, can Ferrari even decide who's the number 1 driver here? Can they actually decide who's the best? Because it seems like they're struggling. Because Charles Leclerc definitely can be, you know, he's definitely the fastest driver on his day, right? The amount of pole positions he's had. But Carlos Sainz knows how to put what's the word? He knows how to put race wins together. Okay, that's Carlos Sainz. Very strong driver pairing. Then you've got number 1, P1. The team I've left out is George Russell and Lewis Hamilton. Why? Guys, let's think about this. Yeah, I know we've got short-term memories. I know the paddock, we got short-term memories, okay? But Lewis Hamilton, I don't need to say anything about him. 7-time world champion, okay? Phenomenal driver, fast, unbelievable, broken every record that there is at this moment in time. Let's put him to the side, okay? George Russell, when you remember what he was doing at Williams, okay? He was, you know, Albon is impressive at Williams, but George Russell was bloody good at Williams, okay? He was really, really good. And Williams were far worse than what Albon is in the team that Albon's in now. Far, far worse, okay? Then do you remember that year in 2020? I think Lewis Hamilton had the coronavirus, right? And Russell stepped in. And it was a Sakir Grand Prix, absolutely dunked on Valtteri Bottas. Yeah, Valtteri Bottas' career literally ended. You know, Russell took Bottas' career that day. Okay, and you know, smashed it completely. Did so well. It was unbelievably good, and he was robbed of a race win because of the tires. He was absolutely robbed of that race win. Sergio Perez ended up winning it in the end in that Racing Point and got himself a seat at Red Bull the following year. So listen, all is well. George Russell eventually joins the Mercedes team, but George Russell has not had it easy because the Mercedes car has not been great. Not because of George Russell per se. Russell has had to learn a little bit because obviously being in a better car, he's having to manage properly. He's having to, you know, really take time to really, you know, kind of get this car underneath him, not to make any mistakes. He's made a few mistakes in that Mercedes, but listen, he's still fast. He's still really quick. He's still really, really good. And when you put that together with Lewis Hamilton, I think that's got to be the best driver pairing in Formula One in 2024 today. Okay, let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Who do you think's got the best driver pairing in Formula One? Was I way out? Am I completely wrong? Let me know in the comment section down below. Where would you have ranked these people? Who are you agreeing with? Who are you disagreeing with? And then we'll revisit this towards the end of the season. We'll revisit this video and see if I was in, out, shake it all about. Let's wait and see. Until next time, though, people, lights out. Peace.